I am Novi Antan, and welcome to iHomeschoolph YouTube podcast, where we'll talk about what really matters in our homeschooling journey. And for today, I am so excited because we're gonna talk about our health, mga mommies, mga daddies, no? The wellness, no? I do believe, no, in this, especially in this time of crisis, we really have to talk about it. Hindi na natin to pwede i-delay. But I hope and I pray that this is not the end of it. You're gonna listen, but I really pray that you're gonna apply what we are going to teach you. But at the end of the day, we just also want to remind you everything that we're gonna discuss here. I hope you'll have an open mind and an open heart. But we are not insisting you na gawin mo to ha kasi ito yung tama. I just really pray that you'll have your own research as well. And you'll be able to choose what is wise and what works for you. So for today, we are going to focus on what we call wellness and health. Ano ba talaga to? Bakit ba to importante at kailangan nating pag-usapan? So I invited my dear friend doctor na through these years no na she went with me through my health, and later I'm gonna give you a snippet of my own experience of my health. But let me introduce her to you first. She's an occupational medicine specialist with a strong background on wellness and safety in the entertainment industry. She has worked closely with local and foreign film crews, guiding them to eliminate risk exposure and keeping them healthy. In doing so, this has propelled her interest in the outdoors, nutrition, and fitness. She later expanded on how all this with other lifestyle choices can affect women's physical and mental health, making her passionate about helping women streamline their path to optimal health and function. For this, she has received extensive training in the Institute for Functional Medicine in the US and in exercise is medicine in Singapore. So, a functional medicine practitioner since 2016. So let us welcome Dr. Zoe. Hello.
Hi, Novi. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, it's such a privilege, Doc. I know, no? Alam ko ang dami mong ginagawa at ang dami mong pasyente. But thank you for just having this time. And I do believe our parents, our listeners, and our audience right now really need to hear this. So let me start with this phrase, no? Siguro with this premise lang na I know, I do believe with this pandemic, madaming fears, madaming nangyayaring kaguluhan at mga diskusyon about health and especially with this virus. But then again, saan ba nanggagaling to? I do believe God has wired and built our body, and whether there's pandemic or not, we need to be good stewards of our health. And this is where it's coming from. And with all the questions I'm gonna give to you, na I'm also interested. Sinasabi nga nila, bakit nga ba importante itong wellness and health? But I do believe, siguro, sinasabi nila, ano ba ang difference nga ng wellness and health? But siguro, let us define first, no? Kung ano ba ito, Doc?
Okay. Pag sinabi natin kasing health, parang ito yung goal. Tapos yung wellness, ito yung path or yung journey para makarating ka sa goal. So pag sinabi natin na health, this is a state of complete physical alignment with your physical, mental, spiritual na aspects in your life. And to get there, you need this positive outlook and this positive approach, and that is wellness. So kumbaga, you need to have some positive lifestyle practices, which is wellness, para makarating ka dun sa goal mo ng health. And by the way, kasi pag sinabi nating health, it doesn't mean na it's just the absence of illness. Kinakailangan, di ba, aligned yan. Complete yung wellness mo. Health, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, di ba? Yun dapat aligned yun.
Ang galing. So dapat ang pag-iisip sa wellness is holistic. I do believe,
yes,
no, na nag-embody rin yung, the health, no, which Hindi natin magagawa kung anong dapat namin gawin or what you're called to do in a day kung hindi mo talaga ite-take care both No? Like for example, we as homeschoolers, di ba yung nanay or tatay who always wants the best for their kids. And
Yeah.
na-remember ko lang yung oxygen, di ba pag sa airport, sinasabi nila na kailangan
Exactly.
suot mo muna
Oo.
yung ano mo, yung yung oxygen mo bago mo tulungan yung anak mo. So bakit ganun? So ganun yung realization ko, especially in this time of pandemic. And we are more than 1 year and we're still in this
Mm-mm.
dilemma. It's just that, well, I'm not sure how you were brought up. Kasi kami, we were brought up in such a way, hindi masyado yung, oh, sipon lang yan, ubo lang yan. But with all the habits of not sleeping early, kasi mga parents ko late na rin matulog. Alam mo, noon, I still remember black and white. They love to watch yung mga black and white sa TV na pinagpupuyatan namin. Yung mga ganon, na hanggang ngayon, yung pa rin yung problema, yung mga ganong habits But when I was able to have given that opportunity to be able to enroll in functional medicine, which I think I have a lot of habits also personally as an individual and as a mom, no? Yung mga, ano yung buwelo-buwelo, no? I deserve this. I'm gonna watch a movie or old movies until gusto ko kasi I deserve this. Ito yung pahinga ko. Pero pahinga ba talaga yun? So, hindi natin nakikita yung ganong holistic approach And I'm so excited with this discussion. And sometimes there's guilt na para bang, no, V, ang pagte-take care ng anak 24/7, paano mo pa iti-take care yung sarili mo? So, sila na muna. But the thing is, paano kung wala ka na, 'di ba? Parang yun yung,
Yes.
paano kung wala ka na? Paano mo pa mate-take care yung gusto mong i-take care? So, my question here, Doc, like you, in your journey, no, as an individual, how is this functional medicine different from any medicine that we have learned? I mean, we have grown to. Ano ba ito? Kasi I do believe our homeschoolers, our parents needs to know that. Kasi medyo hindi bago pa sa pandinig nila yan
Yeah, oo. Yun nga functional medicine bago pa talaga sa Philippines, but it is fast growing. And in fact, they found sa Institute for Functional Medicine na pag maraming mga nag-i-inquire sa kanila sa states na gusto nilang makakita ng functional medicine doctor. Alam niyo kung saan pinakamataas yung inquiry? From the Philippines and Singapore.
Wow.
So, kumbaga, it's really a fast-growing branch. But what is it, diba? Functional medicine per se is not a specialty. Because we're the opposite. We're super generalist. Kasi nga, kinakailangan i-connect natin yung dots. So, we're still following the science that we have been taught in Western medicine, the kind of medicine that you know in the hospital. Pero we look at it in a different way. We look at the bigger picture. So the typical patients that we see, sasabihin nila, I have this migraine na hindi nawawala, I have depression, I have acne, I have menstrual irregularities, or maybe I have hypertension. But the thing is that, ang dami nilang doktor. That's a typical way. Kasi magpapatingin ka sa cardio, magpapatingin ka sa neurologist siguro. Pero you need a doctor din to connect all the dots. Kung dati, ang una natin makikita yung GP, di ba? Tapos yun, ibibigay ka sa specialist. Ngayon, 21st century medicine, kinakailangan makita ka pa rin ng generalist. Kasi kailangan mabuo niya yung kwento. Bakit ba nangyayari to? Our brains are talking to our hearts, to our thyroid, our gonads. So, lahat yan nag-uusap. It's very basic. So, hindi mo pwedeng i-take apart yung organs mo. Kinakailangan maintindihan mo, ano bang pinag-uusapan nilang lahat? Para if you treat yourself, not only are you just taking the medications that you need to stabilize whatever problems you have, but you have to plan for something long-term. So, kunwari, high blood, magte-take ka ng gamot for high blood. And that's going to stabilize your blood pressure. Pero ibig ba sabihin nun, magde-depend ka na lang nun palagi? And if you're eating the same food, if you're not exercising, if you're not sleeping right, you'll still have that problems. It's kind of like you're still mopping the floor that's wet, pero hindi mo naman hinanap kung nasan yung leak. 'Di ba? So you have to stabilize what's going on. You mop the floor, sure, but you have to find the leak. And functional medicine is understanding where the leak is coming from. It's understanding the connection of that pipe to your faucet to turning it onto your floor, right? So that's what functional medicine is. It's a whole systems biology approach that tries to understand where the root causes are and to treat it at that level.
Ang galing, di ba? Yun nga yung experience ko. That's why I think this is my third year in functional medicine, no, with you guys. And I was able to really get to know my body and be able to listen to my body as well. It's not something that, uy, paniki, ba't ganito, ganyan. Ang galing lang. It's like more on coaching and trying to, you guys teach us how to be able to listen, engage kung ano yung nararamdaman. It's not even more on the body itself, but it's also talking about how do you spend your mind with, yung mga breathing techniques na mga ganon.
Yes.
And then yung sleep nga. So dapat isipin natin in such a way na God really connected everything in our body. Sometimes why we're feeling what we're feeling. Like for example, one of the things that really healed me through all of this is my gut.
Yeah.
Grabe palang nagagawa ng gut, Doc. I mean,
yes.
Hindi totoo. Ang daming hindi lang feelings and emotions na lumalabas pag sira talaga yung gut mo. That's my term. Talagang nasira yung gut ko noong 2019. So, nung na-heal yun, ang dami kong, wow, ito pala yun. Masarap pala. I mean, kasi I do believe with gut, yun yung mga kinakain nating pagkain. Di ba? Yun yung mga habit, yung mga bad habits natin na hindi ko na-realize na, oo nga, because nakasanayan mo na, akala mo maganda sa'yo, pero sometimes, hindi sa lahat ng katawan, mag-a-align yun. Kasi sometimes, kota ka na pala. Yung mga ganon. So, there's wisdom on it, no? And sometimes, as individual, we think that na, uy, okay lang yan, paano rin yan, yung parang lilipas din yan, and that's the term. Pero hindi mo pa rin alam yung answer, kahit itulog mo, or babalik pa rin siya. So, I do believe, with all this virus, this pandemic, and maybe a lot of variants are gonna come in, di ba? How do we like, siguro give us like a basic what to do, no? On how to be able to take care of our bodies and how can we be good steward of it. Siguro initial lang, siguro reflective question na mga questions that they need to ask themselves.
Okay. You know what? You made a good point there about, you mentioned God kasi, and you mentioned the nature of our bodies. And you mentioned also about listening to your body. You know, a lot of times, and this is wisdom that I got from seeing my patients. Okay, I learned from my patients too. The wisdom that I got from them is that their bodies are trying to tell them something. Diba? Their bodies are trying to tell them that you have to go back to what nature intended you to do, to what God intended you to do. I mean, your bodies were made to sleep when it gets dark, right? Your bodies are meant to eat what's natural, what God gave you. So you have to, if you have these feelings na hindi maganda yung pakiramdam mo, you have to go back to that nature. And I know it's hard. That's part of, I mean, if changing your lifestyle were easy, wala siguro tayong multi-million dollar peso na industry when it comes to medications, right? But if we start with our health, little by little, the little things that you make in your life, it can reap rewards eventually. It starts off as a little change, which can be a habit, and then it becomes your lifestyle. So if you say want to make changes when it comes to food, you start little. So for example, if ang kaya mo lang gawin is you can change your food by eliminating pastries, that's already a big thing. Or di kaya eliminating pastries and adding in more of your green leafy vegetables, that's already a big thing. And what I notice with patients is that with the little things that they do, they feel the difference kahit konti pa yan, and they get hooked. Kasi if I feel great with this little change, ano pa kaya kapag dinamihan ko yung gagawin ko? Okay? So, we have to, it's important for us to make these little changes because that already is something that your body is asking for. And if you come better and better at it, then you're better at taking care of the people around you. Diba? Tayo bilang nag-aalaga din tayo ng ibang tao sa buhay natin. Hindi lang siguro anak, siguro yung parents mo or yung in-laws mo or yung partner mo, yung asawa mo, ganyan. If we take care of ourselves, it translates to the people around us, right?
Yes, Doc. Ang nakakatuwa nga, 'di ba nga, pag hindi ka nga natulog ng at least 7 hours, 'di ba? Pag gising mo, you're gonna take about, taking care of toddlers, maybe you have 2 to 3 toddlers. Dahil hindi ka nga nakatulog, iba yung dating, yung atmosphere. Kasi as a parent, I set the atmosphere. Kung cranky ka, if you're a person na talaga, lahat naman tayo kailangan natin ganung tulog, di ba? It's hard to execute. It's hard to really pay attention to your kids' needs because ikaw talaga kailangan, again, we will go back to that oxygen, di ba? Oxygen mask. And I do believe that parents, that's why we made this podcast, is this is a generation that it's coming. And I do believe maybe it's shaking us in such a way na we really need to hora our wellness and health. Because magmamanifest yung attitude, magmamanifest yung character. Which is true. Kasi everything is connected eh. It's just that we shouldn't take it lightly. And with that I've said, those are habits that also your kids will imitate. Diba, Doc?
Right.
Kasi ako, guilty ako dyan. Kasi ang dami mga habits yung parents ko na nakasanayan ko eh. And I'm sure you as well, no, growing up. And akala mo tama kasi yun. But I do believe na, like for example, kami, Doc, hindi po pwede yung bacon mawala. Sa araw-araw namin talagang lifestyle yung bacon, no? And sarap-sarap ng bacon, di ba? So,
meron pa dyan yung Coke, di ba? May ibang mga
Coke.
families Coke.
Parang hindi pwede mawala yan sa ganitong family kasi ganun-ganon. Well, pwede naman siguro yan like, hindi ko na alam kung pito kayo magkakapatid. So, siyempre, every month may Coke kayo once a month. But what I'm trying to say is, we need to be wise with our choices. No? Pwede naman palitan yung tradisyon ng ibang mas healthy food or something like that. But I do believe what also you taught me is to be able to do those habits little by little hanggang sa makayanan mo. Na sometimes you think it's like little lang. Pero alam mo yun, yung parang feeling mo hindi naman makakasama sa'yo. Pero in the long run, makakasama. Kasi nga, it's not a good habit at all. And also, our kids will imitate that. And one of the things na tinitingnan talaga ng mga bata, yung mga decision-making natin. Kasi sinasabi natin, anak, kailangan matulog ka, ito kainin mo, vegetable, and all that stuff. Pero ikaw mismo, hindi mo ginagawa yun. And I do believe it should really start from us parents, being role model. And I think this is the time to be able to, kailangan natin ihora itong generation na to dahil ang dami ng eye-opener about the health. Let's make talaga a way na kung paano natin magagawa ito na we'll have to research, we have to really invest in our health. Kasi sometimes, hindi natin nakikita yung doc. Sinasabi, ang mahal-mahal. Especially, sinasabi nila functional medicine, mahal yan. But, kung mapunta ka ngayon sa ospital, di ba? 1 or 5 days, I just want to be upfront. Grabe yung isang aral lang for, not sure if I'm gonna pronounce the medicine. Herpofusion ba yun, Doc? I forgot. It's like parang 100,000. Ayun, yun. Parang 100,000 a day. A day siya.
Yeah.
So, we shouldn't think like that eh. I just want to have an eye-opener here, no? Parang feeling mo kung magpapatingin ka lang, parang dapat grabing-grabe ka na bago ka magpatingin. Alam mo yung gano'n? Kailangan natin talaga bigyan ng time and investment. And even talaga ipunan. Kasi for you to be able to do what you're called to do at yung mga mahal mo sa buhay, let us invest in our health and wellness. Now, my question, which is, kasi pandemic naman, Doc. Kasi I do not like to make an intriga here, but let's talk
Oo.
about vaccine. No, in
Okay, sige.
functional medicine, ano bang sinasabi ng vaccine? Again, disclaimer lang po kami. Okay, we're not gonna convince you here, but ano ba yung vaccine, 'di ba? Some of the people that I've talked to, they have their own, theory about the vaccine.
Yes.
Iba't
Yes.
iba, ang dami ng info sa internet. But I also believe that
Yes.
as a person, this is my body, this is my decision. Okay? How I can be wise in doing vaccine or not doing vaccine. Sige, Doc.
Alam mo, yung vaccine na yan comes very fresh to me in that this morning lang, I was talking to a friend. Yesterday kasi sinabi niya sa akin, may nakipag-away na kaibigan niya sa Facebook because of the vaccine, because they have differing opinion about it. Yung friend ko is, she got her vaccine. This other person is against it. So, nag-away sila. Ang ending, in-unfriend siya. So, sabi ko parang, it's gone this far. And I know there are people who choose not to take the vaccine. The thing is that it all boils down to ano yung decision natin for our own bodies. Kasi 'di ba, we are put in that responsibility na we make decisions for our own bodies. And as doctors, we cannot force the issue on any patient. We can only educate them and hope that they make their own decisions out of all of this information, out of their free will, right? So, when we talk about the vaccine, a lot of people, and I find that I have a couple of patients na may kapatid sa States, and they think na palibhasa functional medicine doctor ako, I will be against the vaccine. But the thing is that even though we talk about natural healing, we talk about a holistic approach to treatment, we still think na, vaccines are there for a reason, right? And there's risk in taking the vaccine, sure. Kasi nga, minadali natin yung development ng vaccine. Vaccine development takes years before it becomes approved. It has to go through a lot of trials before it can be put out in the market. And even if you put it out in the market, they're still observing kung ano yung magiging effect sa population. So kumbaga, ang bottom line here is, ang haba ng proseso before ka makagawa talaga ng vaccine na magiging available to the general population. And the risk here is that hindi pa siya nasa ganung level na madali natin siya. And we have to be aware of this. Kaya nga sinasabi na emergency use authorization lang ngayon. Knowing na may certain risk tayo, but you also have to think of the other side of it. If I do not get the vaccine, ano magiging effect nito sa akin? Ano magiging effect nito sa loved ones ko? Initially, iniisip ko noon, maswerte ako na hindi ako talaga yung nasa front line sa ospital. Okay? Pero I am still connected I'm connected with an ambulance team din kasi. So, andun din yung fear ko na I have to be on the front lines din. But, habang tumatagal nakikita ko na okay, telemedicine ako maswerte ako. So, iniisip ko noon, hindi ako kukuha kaagad ng vaccine. Why? I want to give my slot to my colleagues who are in the front lines. Okay, and at the same time, I am willing to wait. And I want to think about it. Alam kong kukunin ko yung vaccine but at the same time, kinakailangan buo yung loob ko. Di ba important yun? Dapat buo yung loob mo for taking that. And ang naisip ko lang, what if I get pregnant? Paano na? What if I am with my parents who are seniors? Tapos nahawa ko sila. Paano na yun? Paano naman yung mga kasama ko sa bahay? So I'm thinking of those people. I'm thinking of other people. And if I do not get the vaccine, ako tiwala ako sa immune system ko because I take care of myself. But what if it catches me at the time na I'm at my weakest? It happens, di ba? What if it catches me at that time? And
That's
then
good.
na-affect ko pa yung people around me. So that's what made me finally decide na okay, confident na ako, I am going to take it. So I hope na people will get through that decision making. If they decide na okay, the vaccine is not for me, ibig lang sabihin nun, we're all willing to take the consequences. Whether you take the vaccine, you're willing to take the consequences of some side effects, right? And if you decide not to take the vaccine, well, can you take the consequence of having COVID? Because the studies that are showing us right now, or the data that we're getting now, is that people who get the vaccine and then get COVID, hindi ganon katindi yung symptoms or hindi ganon katindi yung situation compared doon sa hindi nag-take. So I think what I want to leave here is when you make that decision, dapat buo yung loob mo and dapat willing ka to take the consequences. Think of the people around you. Okay? And if you're still willing to take the consequences, then that's good. Okay?
Yeah. To add with that, kasi kailangan may peace kaya. So before actually, I had before parang sabi ko hindi mo na ako magpapavaccine. Hintayin muna ako. Tingnan ko muna yung mga tao. Obserbahan ko muna. Something like that.
Yes, yes.
But I keep on praying. But also I seek God in such a way na parang, Lord, ano ba to? I mean, I totally agree with you when you said that there's a reason why it was invented, no? And there's a purpose on that end. And when I was trying to evaluate, pag kunyari pala, ganun pala yung doc, correct me if I'm wrong. If, for example, you are 5 in the family, and 4 of you are vaccinated and 1 is not vaccinated, will you be able to protect the one who's not vaccinated?
What do you mean? Well,
kahit papano. Kunyari, 4 kayo na pa-vaccinate. Pero yung isa, hindi siya nag-decide siya na hindi siya magpapa-vaccinate.
Are we protecting the other one na hindi nag-vaccinate?
Oo.
That's the question.
Meron ba? Oo. Medically, speaking.
Well, when it comes to risks and chances, maybe. However, remember that the other 4 can also get COVID, even with the vaccine. Ang pinag-uusapan lang naman natin dito is we're trying to tame the lion, di ba? It's not going to be as severe as if wala kang vaccine. So, any of the 4 can get COVID. So, paano na yung isa?
Oo, kasi sabihin, pwede yung reaction ng isang tao na hindi na vaccinate, no, maging grabe sa kanya. Kasi,
yes,
'di ba, parang hindi mo alam kung ano yung pwedeng kayanin ng katawan. Iba't iba kasi yung katawan, 'di ba? Iba't iba yung
that's
response.
Right. Yes, that's right.
Okay. So, thank you for clarifying that. Kasi may mga ganong desisyon na, Novi, lahat naman sila nag-vaccinate, so okay lang ako. Yung may mga ganong reason. So, something to think about. Something to think about as well. And yun nga, it should be personal. It should be, you have to have peace na kailangan yun. Ang ganda nung sinabi ni Doc na kailangan buo ang loob. Hindi lang po vaccination. Ang ganda lang nung sinabi ni Doc a while ago. Kasi you know you're coming from. Because you know your body. You were able to grow. I mean, you were able to listen to your body. And through the years, you're able to get to know your body as well. And I do believe being good stewards of the now, even with, I mean, with all of this knowledge and all of this info, we need to activate and we need to be proactive.
Yes.
Diba? Yun yung,
yes,
yun yung kailangan. Like for example, simple lang with wellness, no? Exercise. One of the things that I notice, especially with the parents, no, yun yung pinaka-challenge doing exercise. And after the, you know, giving birth, parang, ang hirap-hirap yung katawan ko. I'm sure marami ka na ganun pasyente.
Oo,
no?
marami.
And then like me, I'm on a perimenopausal stage. Alam mo yung ganun. Madami kang reason na pwedeng sabihin. But whatever your reason may be, talagang God really wired us to move.
Yes.
Whatever movement you want to do, but we need to move. We need to exercise. And I just want to share my story nga, di ba? I told you that in one of our consult with you. And ayoko talagang mag-exercise. But Talaga nag-dig ako nung exercise na alam kong mag-enjoy ako, na may joy.
Mm-mm.
Na hindi na ako
Mm-mm.
kailangan puwersahin at sabihin na, "Hoy, mag-exercise ka."
Oo.
When I started that, grabe lang kasi talagang it works. And it really
Yeah.
gives you the endorphin that you need and there's joy in it, no?
Mm-mm.
I mean kung yung bodybuilding na kailangan mo hindi works for you, di wag mo yung gawin, hindi mo sabihin na kailangan yung gawin. Yung naging konsepto eh. Na kailangan
Oo.
ganito ka, maging high-delin ka bago mo masabing fit ka. Hindi naman ganun yun, di ba? So I'm just encouraging, especially the parents. You just need to move. Like now what we're doing, no? What I'm doing right now, if even I do interviews, I'm standing up right now because I make sure na hindi ako laging nakaupo. Dok, ganun pala
Yes.
yun. Especially,
Oo.
no, itong pandemic, no? Laging tendency mo pa nag-zoom ka, lagi ka nakaupo. Hindi pala healthy yun. Bakit? Ano ba nangyayari pag lagi nakaupo?
Well, pag lagi ka nakaupo, then the circulation is not activated, di ba? The thing is that you have to remember, you're taking in nutrients to power your cells, to power your hormones, your brain, everything. And if you're not moving, then the circulation is not moving. It's not, the good things are not getting to where it's supposed to go. So kung kunwari, kinakailangan the energy, the nutrients have to go to the brain, you're not pumping your legs by moving that circulation, paano na? So maybe you'll feel sluggish, maybe you're not going to be able to work well, baka may brain fog ka. So you need to move. And the thing about exercise, ang turo nga with exercise medicine is that you start low and you go slow. So let's start where you're able to do, let's start where you're at. Kung kunwari wala siyang
Galing.
energy, sometimes nga we have to assess. And maybe there are tests that we can see na, hindi talaga nagpo-produce ng energy itong patient na to. Bakit natin ipopwersa na mag-exercise siya? Baka kinakailangan niya yoga lang muna o di kaya yung mga gentle movements lang muna. Pero bottom line, may movement pa rin. Okay? So, pag hindi talaga pwede, hindi namin papwersahin. Pero kapag pwede, let's start where you're at. So, kung kunwari, sasabihin niya, kaya ko maglakad. O sige, lakad tayo. O di kaya, di ba tinanong kita, ano bang gusto mong exercise? I ask people that, ano bang gusto mong exercise? Ayoko naman ma-feel nila na there's no joy in that movement na sasabihin ko mag-weights ka. Ayaw naman nila mag-weights. Baka mamaya hindi yun yung hinihingi ng katawan eh. Baka mamaya ang hinihingi ng katawan niya mag-jog. So, start where your level is at saka kung ano yung gusto mo. Let's start low and we proceed slowly. So, meron nga akong isa recently. He's a guy. And ayaw niya talaga mag-exercise. No exercise at all. Tapos sabi ko, but we need movement. Sabi niya, yeah, sige, pwede ako. Kaya ko yan. Anong kaya mong gawin? Kaya niya mag-walk. Sabi ko, okay. How many times a week? 3 times. Sabi ko, okay. Go for a walk for 5 minutes, 3 times a week. So, can you imagine ko ng reaction niya? Parang, 5 minutes lang.
Naghihintay siya.
Oo, hindi ba dapat pawisan ako? Maganda ba yung pawisan? Sabi ko, maganda yung pawisan, pero kahit 5 minutes lang, simulan natin there. Ang kinakailangan natin gawin is consistent tayo. Tapos parang hindi siya makapaniwala, this is coming from me. So eventually, sabi niya, Doc, kaya ko yan 15 minutes. Kahit twice a day pa. Even better. So at least sa kanya galing. 'Di ba? Hindi ko siya pinilit. And that is a
Galing.
program na naisip niya for himself. Sabi ko, sige, if you can do that, 15 minutes twice a day, 5 times a week. Sabi, okay na siya doon. Okay na, pasado na sa kanya. So at least, he's starting on something at his level. And eventually, we will move on to bigger things kapag kaya na niya. The important thing here is you move and it becomes consistent. So you have this habit of having movement every day.
Ang galing, Doc. I love what you said, no? Yung sinasabi mong meeting where you are eh. So, pwede nating sabihin din yan sa pagkain, di ba? So, we talk about the movement, now the eating as well. And also the sleeping.
Yeah.
Kasi, syempre, yung mga habit nga yung mahilig magpuyat, and then, there are certain habits na kailangan mo lang tanggalin, but you have to do it slowly. Ano sabi mo? Go and grow? Ba yun? I'm sorry?
Start low and go slow.
Yun, low, yun. So, nakakatuwa lang kasi hindi naman sinasabi na kailangan mo ng ganito exaggerated habit. Doon nagkakaroon actually ng parang malfunction, di ba? Parang, ano ba
Oo.
tawag doon? Yung parang rubber band. You want to change and then
Yeah.
parang pumipitik ka. Kasi nga,
Oo.
sige
Yeah.
mag-exercise na ako, Doc, tapos gagawa kang waist bin. Ayoko na. Kasi nga, you're pushing yourself too much. But ang ganda lang how God wired our body on that end. Kasi ganun din siya sa atin eh. He's meeting us where we are. And we don't have to prove ourselves. It's just that, syempre, hindi mo naman nakasanayan yun. So, go to what you first na nag-e-enjoy ka and then you go from there and then level up. Ang galing.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Doc, for that, no? And I hope that this podcast or our viewers, na-encourage sila sa lahat ng mga sinabi mo. Kasi all of these things really takes a lot of work, no? It really takes a lot
Yeah.
of intentional decision as
Intention.
well.
Yes.
Oo, kasi
Oo.
sinasabi mo rin kanina na kailangan gusto mo eh. Hindi siya pwedeng usap lang tong ginagawa natin. Kailangan talaga gusto mo, you are willing to do it. No matter sa siguro at first, it won't be, like ako nung unang exercise, at first parang, pero ngayon hinahanap na ng katawan ko. Ganun pala yun, Dok, pag ginagawa mo na
Ganun yan.
lagi, ano?
Oo.
So, saka yung 15 minutes ko, naging 30, ngayon naging 45, ngayon 5 to 6 times a week na ako. So parang hindi, wala nagsabi nun, hindi asawa ko or mga anak
Oo.
ko. Pero yun eh, that's how the rhythm that was installed and you think na, it's good pala. No, it's a journey that you have to take while listening to your body. And I'm really thankful for that, no, Doc, for having that kind
Oh.
of perspective. Kasi I do believe, no, kasi kung hindi parang naging open yung mind ko, no, noong 2019, siguro parang nasan ako ngayon? Ano yung health ko during this time of pandemic? I wasn't able siguro to be able to do what I'm called to do. Now, alam mo, Doc, if you're gonna, kasi nung first nun, sluggish, sobra akong sluggish. I don't like to move. I just like to sit down. And with homeschooling 3 kids, talaga nakakapagod eh. No? And kaya pala ako napapagod kasi nga, I wasn't able to focus on my health and my wellness. So, for siguro, Doc, my question is, siguro last na, what can you say our parents right now and to encourage them on how to go to this route rather than, with all these infos in the internet, whether negative or positive, what is your advice to us?
Okay. I think I have two in mind. The first is that you are a priority too. Okay? Because the thing is that ang napapansin ko with a lot of people, a lot of women especially, talagang pina-prioritize nila other people in their life. Their husband, their parents, their kapatid, their children. And then, gaya na sinabi mo kanina, yung ibibigay ko na lang sa kanila. And they're forgetting about themselves. And so when I tell them, you are a priority too. And some of them are, parang they're taken aback. Kasi it feels selfish to them. Sabi ko, no. When you're taking care of yourself, and when I tell you that you are a priority, it's not saying me first. It's saying me too. I am also a priority. And it's important kasi na we take care of ourselves in order to take care of other people. Which brings me to, we have to take care of our whole being. Our minds, mental, emotional, and spiritual are as important because without that mental health, we cannot be physically healthy. And I know we're strong mentally. Ang dami nating na-overcome, ang dami nating na-accomplish. But a lot of times, yung stress na yon, hindi lumalabas sa psychology, lumalabas sa biology. And that's why we have all sorts of illnesses, di ba? So we have to take care of the total package, not just our physical, not just mental, emotional, and spiritual, everything. And it starts from you, and it extends to your family members, it extends to your friends and your community. So it's important to take care of ourselves too.
Wow. Thank you so much, Doc. So, I hope mga parents, no, na nagkaroon kayo ng a lot of learnings in this conversation with Doc Zoe. So, Doc Zoe, okay,
Yeah.
can you please give us your information kung gusto ka naming hanapin and, start with our journey with our health?
Yeah. I'm also on social media. I have a fan page, although medyo quiet ako doon, but I have that. And I also have an Instagram account. In both accounts, you can look for at Dr. Zoe Arugay. So Dr. dot and that's one word, Zoe Arugay. So that's my Instagram and my Facebook fan page.
Yes. Thank you so much again, Doc Zoe. Talagang very helpful ka sa aming community.
Thank
And
you.
to be able to encapsulate our conversation, God has given us this body, and this is only one body. We cannot be able to reverse it or change it, no? And I do believe this is the time to really be good stewards of our body and start by, yun nga, meeting where you are and just do it slowly. It doesn't have to be very extravagant plans na alam mong hindi pwedeng mangyari. And I do believe you can check out the functional medicine. Also, like, you can DM Doc Zoe in her Instagram account, okay, for all your questions. So, kaya natin to. I do believe with the generations this generation, with all the health things that we are talking about, siguro, Doc, makaka-create tayo ng generation na talagang health conscious and wellness conscious. Okay.
I can see it happening. I can.
Yes,
really.
yes. Maraming pong salamat. Ako po si Novi Antan at lagi po nating tatandaan in homeschooling, relationship is more important than academics. Maraming salamat po.